In this video, we're going to be taking a look at choosing a method. Now, the essential question that we are going to answer on page 151 of your Go Math books is which method could you choose to find decimal sums and differences? Now, it's important to know that sums deal with addition problems and differences deal with subtraction problems. Now, let's take a look at unlocking the problem on page 151. And the first thing we need to do whenever we come across a problem is read it. Okay, so it says at a track meet, Stephen entered the long jump. His jumps were 2 and 25 meters, 1 and 81 meters, and 3 and 75 meters. What was the total distance Stephen jumped? Okay, now the first thing that we need to do is, first of all, underline the sentence that tells you what you are trying to find. And what we are trying to find is what was the total distance Stephen jumped. Okay, then from here, we want to take a look at the numbers we are going to need. 1 and 81 hundredths, 2 and 25 hundredths, and 3 and 75 hundredths. So you can see from here what we need to do. We need to find decimal sums. You can use properties and mental math, or you can use paper pencil. We have a lot of different methods that we can actually use for this. Okay, now one way is to use properties and mental math. Okay, so you can see, for example, if we want to use the commutative property, and remember what the commutative property is, it does not matter which order you add your add-ins, the sum will be the same. Okay, or you can do the associative property, and the associative property, if the grouping of add-ins changes, the sums will stay the same. So we can do either of these here. Okay, so let's say, for example, it's easier to add 2 and 25 hundredths to 3 and 75 hundredths. We can do that first. Okay, so we have 2 and 25 hundredths plus 3 and 75 hundredths is going to give us 6. And then we can add that 6 to 1 and 81 hundredths. Okay, so we can do this mentally here, and it's easy to see that 25 hundredths and 75 hundredths is going to equal 1. Okay, so we have the 1 there. We can carry the 1 over or regroup. And then 6 and 1 and 81 hundredths, so 81 hundredths plus 0 is going to give us 81 hundredths. Put our decimal point, 6 and 1 will give us 7. So by using the commutative or associative property, you can use mental math. Another way, what we can do is just simple paper pencil. Okay, so we can still see here that we need to add everything up. So 5 hundredths plus 1 hundredth plus another 5 hundredths is going to give us 11 hundredths. Regroup. 1 tenth plus 2 tenths plus 8 tenths plus 7 tenths is going to give us 18 hundredths. 18 tenths. Okay, or 8 and 1 tenth. So 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 is going to give us 7. So 7 and 81 hundredths meters was the total distance jumped by Stephen. So you can see whether you use mental math or properties using mental math or just paper pencil, you can see you still do get the correct answer. Okay, let's go to the try this problem on page 152. It says in 1924, we can see William de Hubbard won a gold medal with a long jump of 7 and 44 hundredths meters. In 2000, Roman, not sure exactly the last name, won the bronze medal with a jump of 8 and 31 hundredths meters. How much longer, we could say Roman, how much longer was Roman's jump than Hubbard's? Okay, so what we can do is take a look at a problem like this, and we can do paper pencil. Okay, so we need to line up the place values, line up the decimals. Okay, now we need to subtract. Okay, but remember, whenever we are comparing two different things and trying to find the difference, that's going to be subtraction. Okay, so we cannot take 4 hundredths away from 1 hundredth. We need to regroup. Then we have 11 minus 4 is going to give us 7. And we know that we cannot take 4/10 from 2/10, so we need to regroup. 12/10 minus 4/10 is 8/10. Then from there, drop the decimal. 7 minus 7 is 0. Okay, so now what we could do, we can do it paper pencil like I just showed you, or in your book. You can see that you can even use a calculator there as well. Okay, so we could see that Romans, okay, that was his first name, jump was 8,700 meters longer than Hubbard's. Okay, now there's a question there. Explain why you cannot use the commutative property or the associative property to find the difference between two decimals. Now it's important to understand, remember, commutative property means that you can change the order of the addends. You cannot change the order of the numbers whenever you subtract, okay? It will not give you the same answer. And remember, associative property, okay, means that, you know, once again, you're grouping, you're changing the order and all that, and you cannot do that with subtractions. You will not end up with the same answer. Okay, I want you to work through these problems with me. I do want you to write these down in your math journal. You will not have enough room in your Go math book. Okay, so let's write these down. And the first one we can just do simple lining up the decimal points. So 4 and 1900ths plus 5800ths. We'll just add those up. 900ths plus 800ths is 1700ths. Put my 7 there, carry my tenth. 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 5/10 is 7/10. 4 ones plus 0 ones is 4. 4 and 7700ths. Okay, now let's take a look at the next one. We can actually use the associative property for this. And what we can do, I can see, and then use mental math, I can see that 5 and 7/10 and 1 and 3/10 can be added together a little bit easier than throwing in that 2 and 2500ths. So 5 and 7/10 plus 1 and 3/10, and I want you to write it out in your math journal just like I have right here. Okay, and then plus 2 and 2500ths. Let me show you how we work this problem out. Now I know that 7/10 and 3/10 is going to give me 10/10, or 1 whole. Okay, so I think about that, and I know that I can just regroup carrying 1 over. So 5 and 7/10 plus 1 and 3/10 is actually going to give me 7. And then I know I can add 2 and 2500ths to that 7, giving me 9 and 2500ths. Okay, so you can see as you use the associative property, it can be very easy to add numbers together. Now, with 38 and 4400ths minus 25 and 8600ths, you cannot use the associative property, commutative property, or anything like that. You just need to, with this one, just write it out paper pencil. So let's do that together. 38 and 4400ths. And subtract 25 and 8600ths. Work through this problem together. Cannot take 600ths from 400ths, so we need to regroup. Now 600ths minus 1400ths is 800ths. Cannot take 8/10 from 3/10, so we need to regroup. 13/10 minus 8/10 will give us 5/10. Bring that decimal right down. 7 ones minus 5 ones is 2. 3 tens minus 2 tens is 1 10, for a total of 12 and 5800ths. So I'll have you write that in your Go math book. Okay, I want you to either use the associative property or the commutative property to figure this problem out. I want you to write it down in your math journal and then figure the problem out using mental math. When you press play, I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, you can see I have the answer of 16 and 9800ths. Why was I able to use the Associative property for this, because I see that 3/10 and 7/10, I know that's going to give me a nice even number without any decimals. I'll add those two together, and then I can add it to the 2 and 98 hundredths, giving me a total of 16 and 98 hundredths. Now let's take a look at another one. I want you to solve this problem. When you're finished, you can press play, and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, the answer for this one is 27 and 67 hundredths. So let's move to another one. I want you to add 54 and 78 hundredths, or I'm sorry, $54.78 to $43.62. Work through this problem. When you're finished, you can press play, and I will have the answers for you. So pause the video now. Okay, so let's take a look at this problem. $98.40. Okay, I want you to work through this problem. $22.50 minus $8.99. When you're finished, you can press play, and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, you should have the answer of $13.51. Okay, I want you to work through the test prep problem at the bottom of page 154. When you're finished, you can press play, and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, the answer is letter D. And moving to the end of the video, which method could you choose to find decimal and sums? So you could use mental math and properties, paper pencil, or a calculator. So if you have any questions about choosing a method, please come and see me.